The gable hadn't fallen yet when I felt the room tilt. Mahogany table, fluorescent lights. The soft rasp of my lawyer's breath as he read the number again. Quieter this time, like it might bruise the air. 3.9 million. Across from me, she sat with her hands folded as if in prayer. Same hands that once closed a suitcase. Same eyes that learned how to look clean while asking for blood. Her lawyer slid a document forward. Pages whispered. Ink waited. I smelled floor polish. Old paper. Fear. Mine stale and metallic. I said it before anyone asked me to. Let her take it. My lawyer turned startled. Her lawyer smiled. Then the chair beside me creaked. My STEPSON leaned forward. Fingers still smudged with blue paint. He never quite washes off. He didn't look at her. He looked at the document like it was a puzzle he'd already solved. Let me handle it, he whispered. The room went quiet in the way storms do, right before they decide where to land. 13 years earlier, the house went silent first. Not the good silence, the kind that hums, the empty kind. She said she needed to be happy. She said she was tired. She said the boy was too much. Our son, my stepson, sat on the floor, lining up his toy cars by color, then by size, then by the quiet logic only he could hear. He didn't look up when the door closed. He didn't ask where she went. I did. I remember the weight of the goodbye. The way it settled into the couch cushions and never left. The way it changed how light entered rooms. He didn't cry. He never does. He absorbed. He cataloged. He adjusted at night. He tapped the wall 3 times every hour to check that the house still existed. I tapped back 2 taps, always 2. We learned each other in fragments. Me learning patience like a second language. Him learning that I would always tap back. She sent a postcard once, then nothing. I taught him to cook eggs without burning the pan. He taught me how colors feel different depending. On the day, blue was safe, yellow was loud. Red was a warning. The first time he painted, it was because the noise in his head wouldn't stop. I gave him a canvas because I didn't know what else to do. The noise stopped. I watched him grow into himself the way mountains do. Slow, inevitable, beautiful if you know how to look. Fame didn't arrive with fireworks. It arrived with emails, a gallery scout, a second opinion, a polite phone call that used his name like it was already worth something. Then the sale. The number landed like a drop plate. Everyone froze. Then the room erupted. Cameras, congratulatory hands. Strangers saying genius like it was a diagnosis. I kept my hand on his shoulder, 2 taps. That's when I noticed the timing. 3 days after the sale, an unfamiliar number lit my phone. I didn't answer. The voicemail was all breath and memory. Then the certified letter. Then the lawyer's card. She didn't ask how he was. She asked who managed the funds. She didn't say his name. She said my son. I felt the old egg try to wake up. I put it back to sleep. Something in me went cold, not angry, calculating. I didn't confront. I watched. I read statutes at night while he painted. Guardianship laws, trust structures, abandonment clauses, every word a tool. I pulled school records, therapy notes, medical histories, 13 years of silence documented in neat folders. I found the last postcard. Postmarked the day after she moved in with him. The other man, the one who liked boats and quiet dinners and not being needed. I hired a forensic accountant without telling anyone why the evidence didn't hurt. That surprised me. It clarified. Pain had already done its work. What remained was architecture. I stopped thinking like a husband. I started thinking like a trustee. When my lawyer asked if I wanted to fight, I said no. I said we'd comply. I watched my stepson from across the kitchen as he painted a horizon that bent in a way only he could see. I waited. He noticed. He always does. The plan wasn't loud. It didn't need to be. He asked me one question. Did she leave me? Yes. He nodded. We asked another. Did you stay, Wes? He nodded again. Twice. The rest was process. He reviewed the trust documents himself, not because he wanted control, because he wanted understanding. He annotated margins with symbols I didn't recognize, but trusted. He insisted on an independent evaluation of his capacity, not to be declared dependent, but autonomous. He passed with ease. He requested a public hearing. I worried then, not about the outcome, about the exposure. He met my worry with calm. Blue calm. She listens when people watch, he said. I learned then that he had been planning to in his own way longer than me. The courtroom buzzed like a hive. Cameras angled. Reporters whispered. The judge adjusted his glasses. She arrived late. Power move. Her lawyer stacked papers like armor. They spoke first about biology, about entitlement, about money owed. I stared at the flag behind the bench. Counted stitches stayed still. When it was our turn, my lawyer stood and said nothing new. He offered the trust, the compliance, the surrender. The room exhaled. She smiled. Then my stepson stood. No one stopped him. He walked to the podium, hand steady voice. Even he didn't talk about art. He talked about abandonment. Not as an accusation. As a fact, he presented timelines, messages unanswered, years unvisited. He played audio from a deposition she'd forgotten about, where she admitted she couldn't handle the responsibility. The courtroom leaned in. He introduced the trust's final clause, one she hadn't read, one activated by a public claim of entitlement after abandonment. The funds transferred not to me, not to her, to a foundation he had already registered for neurodivergent artists. Legal aid, therapy access, education grants. Her lawyer stood too fast, papers fell. The judge nodded slowly like a man watching a safe land. Cameras flashed. Someone gasped. She said his name. Then for the first time, he looked at her. Really? Looked, you don't get to say it now, he said. Silence broke into applause. The judge didn't stop it. She left without looking back again. The headlines called it poetic. They were wrong. It was precise. The foundation launched quietly. The money went to work. He painted less after that. Not because the noise returned, but because the silence changed. At home, the taps continue. 3 from him, 2 from me. Justice isn't loud. Revenge doesn't have to be cruel. Sometimes it's letting someone reach for what they think is theirs and watching them discover they forfeited it long ago. I didn't raise a victim. I raised a man who understands control. And when I said let her take it, I'm at the moment, not the future.